All right. In the last video, we went ahead and activated our machines. So at this point in the lessons, we now should have active machines. So now I'll review the reporting features of what you can do after we have actually activated Senteon. To do that, we'll head into reports. We have executive summary, endpoint reports, and data specifics. I'm going to review endpoint reports and executive summary today, and I'll explain what data specifics are. It's a very specialized report that is more targeted. But endpoint reports, we'll start there. This is going to be the most friendly one to show a quick proof of value to the purchasing team, to leadership, to a customer, whatever that is. So you'll go ahead and choose the customer, choose the environment, and you'll want to generate a standard report. You can always white label this so that it has the appropriate company name so that the client knows where it's coming from. Additionally, we do have custom options down here. You'll really only want to use omit unmanaged values because that is what's going to show, or rather, that's what will remove the settings that are outside of scope so that they don't impact any of the scoring to follow. All right, let's go ahead and hit generate here and see what we got. So as you can see, these are going to be individual machines, individual rows that you can click on and expand. Again, Senteon is looking at the machine level, so that's why we have to have individual devices as opposed to just looking at one domain. All right, so you can see this machine started at 72, now it's at 599, this machine's 77, 604, right? You remember we do have some exception groups, but the reality is now you have a very quick proof of value to show what you got done in the client environment. And in many, if not all instances, you can show this proof of value in a sub 24-hour turnaround. That is the fast value Senteon is providing you. Further, you can expand these reports a little bit more. You can again see all the settings, if they're drifted or healthy, the target options versus the current option, and what it was before. And same usability as before, you can always add in the frameworks they care about. If they're just looking for CIS, if they're looking at CMMC, whichever frameworks are most interesting to you, go ahead and select those, add those in, and now you have a presentable report to an auditor of exactly which requirements you are adding evidence towards the completion of any single control, right? And I'm not going to review the usability further than this. That is in the other reporting video. So this is the takeaways from this type of report. We do have the PowerPoint export and PDF export, but this is an overview of that process. Going back into the other tab, I'll explain executive summary. So we'll want to again choose our tenant, choose our environment that we're looking at, and we'll do Senteon developers, keep that white label, and the custom choices here will be a little bit more. So you can see here we can add drift status, we can add frameworks that we might care about, whichever ones those are. And we're going to have drift range. That is going to be something I'll explain after we generate this, as well as the consistency summary. So you can see here, by default, we will be looking against CIS, but we can break down this report so that we only focus on the ones with CMMC requirements or SOC 2, whichever ones you pre-filled in there. These numbers will update accordingly, 153 versus 1, while ISO will likely have 1,000 requirements and a little bit more non-compliant. This panel here is going to be the consistency summary and your average score. So you can see here, we did not update the scale, but it would show some data points to show that your average is about 580 across 4 devices. And the important thing here is we do have a variance of 4. So that does mean all of the devices in this tenant have a different combination of settings. In a perfect world, we want to bring this number lower. Say if it's a 100 endpoint environment, we bring this down to 3 different variances and baselines, right? In our example, we've been working through this tutorial. We had quite the few amount of exception groups, so we do have a little bit of a larger variance. The risk heat map, this is a real explanation of where your configurations sit against the MITRE ATT&CK framework. So you can see here, you're at most risk for defense evasion. This gives you a very unique opportunity to present this to your clients or to leadership to explain to them, hey, at the end of the day, we've eliminated hundreds, if not thousands, of risky paths or abuses that attackers can leverage in their techniques. But we have still some we can talk about in defense evasion, right? And we can show those in some other screens. The most important graph to show for QBRs is going to be your drifts over time. So you can see total drifts has been 43, and Senteon has auto-corrected 43 of those. This is all going to be areas you can show immense value as if you're the one doing the work, but us in the platform know Senteon is automatically putting these policies back in place whenever they drift. And drift is very constant per Windows updates, new applications installed, various application updates, users doing things they shouldn't, right? An admin maybe making an exception to install something new and forgetting to roll back, right? So there's a million and one reasons that these drifts happen. Senteon is there to keep things enforced, compliant, and standardized for your environment. All right. And that's a quick overview on reports, data specifics. This is similar. It is going to be more of an Excel export, but it's going to be the exact same functionality in Excel for you to manipulate yourself. Awesome. Thank you so much for tuning in on reports post-activation. The next one, we'll be reviewing some more, I believe, on change tracking and Action Center.